Hey everyone! Before we start, I just want to talk about Warwick's items and runes. And the first item that I would go for is Trinity Force. Triforce is really good on Warwick because it provides him with additional HP, damage, attack speed, ability haste, a bit of move speed, as well as a Sheen passive, which synergizes well with his first and ultimate skill. An alternative for this would be the Divine Sunder. I would only go for Sunder if I'm going for a pure tank build or they have a lot of tanky members in the enemy team. But I'd rather go for the Triforce because it has higher carry potential. Next item I would go for is Blade of the Ruined King. This item allows you to chase down targets with the passive that it provides, slowing down the opponent, as well as giving him more damage, attack speed, lifesteal, which makes Warwick more sustainable in fights. An alternative for this would be the Wit's End, but I would only go for the Wit's End if they have a lot of AP in the enemy team. Next item I would go for is the Steel-Plated Stasis. An alternative for this would be the Mercury Threads if they have a lot of crowd control, but Stasis is one of the best items that Warwick could get because it allows you to buy time, possibly outplaying the opponent, and waiting for your skills to come off cooldown. Fourth item is a flex depending on the situation, but generally you could go for the Sterak's Gauge because Warwick is kinda squishy and Sterak's would increase his overall HP as well as give him more damage. But if they have anti-shield, another alternative that you could go for is the Dead Stance because this allows Warwick to become a bit more sustainable in fights, giving him a bit more tankiness and making him last longer in team fights as well. Then the next item that we go for is Guardian Angel. This allows Warwick to have a second life, giving him a bit of armor and damage overall. Last item is a flex depending on the opponent. If they have a lot of AD or a lot of crit, you could go for the Randuin's Omen. If they're attack speed focused, you could go for the Frozen Heart. Or if they're AP heavy, you could go for the Spirit Visage. Depends on you on the situation, but this is the general build that I would go for. Going to the runes, the first rune that I would go for is Kraken Slayer. This synergizes really well with his kit since he could easily proc this by using auto attack first skill. Auto attack would proc the Kraken Slayer, or just using his ultimate would proc the Kraken Slayer as well. An alternative for this would be the Conqueror rune, which makes his sustain a lot higher, but I would want to focus on my damage, and Kraken would be the best rune for this. Next rune that I would go for is Hunter Vampirism. Since Warwick specializes on lifesteal, this rune would make his lifesteal even higher and allowing him to become even more sustainable in team fights. An alternative for this would be Triumph. If you're looking for a burst heavy type of build or you would want to burst someone, this is also a good alternative rune for you. Next rune that I would go for is Hunter Titan. Since one of Warwick's main weakness is that he is easily kiteable, Hunter Titan would increase his tenacity and his effectiveness when crowd controlled. And then the last rune that I would go for is Pathfinder. This makes his ultimate range a bit higher and makes his roams a lot faster. But if you'd want to become more sustainable, you could go for the Hunter Genius as well because this would lower his cooldown, allowing you to spam his first skill a lot more in team fights. So that is it for Warwick's items and runes, and I will see you guys in game. Going to the game, I'm going to be showing you how to play Warwick Jungle. In this matchup, we're currently up against Gragas, and in a Warwick vs Gragas matchup, this is advantageous towards the Warwick player because we have more sustain and stronger duel potential overall. What Warwick players usually do is that they would like to stay and farm until level 5 so that they would have access to their ultimate earlier and that would make their ganks a lot deadlier. I place a control ward behind the blue buff to prevent any invades and start at the red side. I think about starting at the Golem or Krugs, but in the end I start at the Golem because I would want to go for a full clear since it is the fastest path. It is currently the fastest path in order to get up level 5. Looking at the clear, Warwick is one of the easiest jungle champions to use because his sustain is really high with the use of the passive and you don't need to do much when clearing camps. The only thing that you need to do is auto attack first skill, auto attack so that you would cancel animation your first skill. Another tip about Warwick jungle is that you would want to use your smite as early as possible because once you have access to your second skill, you would get more attack speed if the camp is below 50%. That's why I use smite once it's available even though the camp is full HP so that when it falls below 50%, my attack speed would go higher, making my clears overall faster. The only problem about this is that if you get invaded and you use your smite early, this could be an easy steal for the opponent. But overall, Warwick is really strong in the jungle and it's hard to 1v1 Warwick. That's why people don't usually invade. I was supposed to go to the wolves, but I see that the top is going pretty low. And as soon as I see Nautilus go for the hook, I immediately drop the blue buff, go for the top side, and with the second skill, Nautilus is very low. We still fear him even though he flashes, take down the Nautilus, chase down the Lucian, flash in to protect our teammate, Q hold so that I would go behind, and we get an easy double kill. So that is Warwick's strengths. And instead of going for the buff, I see that Twisted Fate is really low. Try to go for a gank. Gragas flashes into the Veigar. We go for the punish. And instead of going for the TF, we take down their jungler, giving us a really good start. I look where the TF possibly may be. I see that he was able to recall back home. Renekton is a bit overextended and is very low. With the use of my ultimate, I chase him down really easily. Plus my first skill, and with that, we're able to gank all 3 lanes in just 2 minutes. And this is one of Warwick's strengths, is that his roam potential, his ganking potential is really high, especially if the opponents have low HP. Instead of doing a full clear, I was able to change my path and I went for a gank instead. Another fight happens top. Twisted Fate uses his ultimate. I try to go for the Lucian because it's pretty low. Q hold. Try to chase down the Lucian, but Nautilus has a lot of CC, and this is one of Warwick's weaknesses, is that he is easily kited if the opponent has a lot of crowd control. I decide to not chase him down because of the gold card. I see that 4 people are there. I sidestep the hook. Gragas body slams in. Go look for the punish, but overall, I just go back and get my farm. The opponent was able to get a decent trade, but overall, I'm still able to get 4 kills, and I'm in a position where I could easily snowball the game. Looking at the map, whenever your passive triggers, it means that there's someone that is low HP. Twisted Fate overextends mid-side, immediately go for the response. And one tip when playing Warwick is that you would want to use your third skill and then first skill hold, and then after going behind the opponent, that's when you release the third skill. That way you would fear the opponent, what do you call this? Going away from you, pushing them to your tower or pushing them to your teammates. So instead of fearing them away from you, you would push them towards your team. Jax goes down in the bot side. I see that there are 3 people attacking the tower. I am quite it's quite hard to defend the tower against 3 people since they could burst me easily. They have a lot of crowd control. So I wait for my team before doing anything. Activate the third skill, first skill hold, push them towards the tower. Jax arrives, does a little poke, uses the third skill. The opponents are able to kite back, and I go back to get my Triforce. The objectives are spawning in 15 seconds. We are still in a snowball position. We have all the kills, and if the opponents don't notice me, I would be able to finish them all. With the objective spawning, I'm looking at the positioning of my team. Jax is pushing the bot, and Renekton is here, so this would most likely be a 4v5. So what I want to do is try to just buy time, allow Jax to push. I use my ultimate. Lucian is able to flash it, hold my third skill, and once Nautilus is down, I go back, possibly use my flash if they chase me down, and we lose the fight, but we're able to get the tower bot. So a tip when using Warwick in 5v5 fights, you are very squishy, so you'd always want to hold your third skill as long as possible, using it to reduce the damage rather than using it for crowd control. You'd only want to use the third skill for crowd control if it's guaranteed that you would be able to take down a target. So another fight happens on the Rift Herald. We're still outnumbered because Varus is not available. I try to kite them a bit. I'm forced to flash. I buy a bit of time. Veigar is able to stun a lot of targets, and I use my first skill to poke down the opponent. Get some sustain onto the Nautilus. He flashes out. I'm not able to go for the Herald because I'm pretty low. We take down the Gragas. We take 4 of them down. Lucian gets caught in the side. I use my ultimate. Luckily, Veigar was able to get the Rift Herald, and we go for the mid tower. Pretty clean ace, 5-4 non-exchange, and we even steal the objective. So this is a snowball game, and we're placed in a position where we could easily finish the game as long as my team doesn't int. Unfortunately, as soon as I said that, my team just overextended mid and gave a chance to the opponent to try and come back. So at this stage of the game, I'm 7-0, I have a huge bounty. And what I want to do here is try to pick off the side lanes because Warwick specializes on catching people rather than in team fights. Because Warwick's main weakness is that he's easily kiteable and can easily get bursted down, especially when you don't have your third skill. So what you want to do is try to split push and help the side lanes get ahead with the use of your ultimate. You could get easy pickups at the sides. All of the camps are up, so I decide to just farm my camps before doing anything else in the map. My Blade of the Ruined King is available, and this is another huge power spike for Warwick. As I said earlier, Warwick is easily kiteable, but once you're able to complete the Blade of the Ruined King, you would have a lot more chase potential and a lot more DPS. The passive of the Blade of the Ruined King works with the first skill and your ultimate. And another thing about why Triforce is really good on Warwick is because it stacks with the first skill. So if you use your first skill, you would also use the Sheen proc. So Gragas tries to go for a flank, go for the easy burst, and see how strong my burst is once I'm able to complete the Blade of the Ruined King. So basic bread and butter combo is use second skill for the additional move speed. We force the TF to flash. You would usually go for the third, if you're trying to pick off targets, you use the third skill, Q hold, then release your third skill, then go for the sure hit ultimate, because if you fear your opponent, your ultimate would be, you would hit guaranteed. Because Warwick's ultimate sometimes is hard to hit, and if you want to guarantee hitting your ultimate, you would always want to use the fear before the ultimate. But in clashes, you would want to use the third skill for the sustain rather than the CC. Varus gets a double kill topside. TF gets our Varus. I use my second skill to chase down the Twisted Fate. I have my ultimate plus third skill, so look what I do here. I activate the third skill, go behind the TF, then use my ultimate for the guaranteed hit, and we burst the Twisted Fate with just 2 items. A cannon minions at the top side. The towers have HP. Whenever your screen shows up in a weird manner, it means that there's someone low HP, and you would always want to look at your map just in case that there might be a chance that you would be able to chase them down. Jax gets outplayed, dies both side to the Renekton. Unfortunate, I tried to look for the Renek, but as soon as the second skill runs out, I know that he has gotten back to base. Gragas does a play top. My team is getting caught one by one. As soon as I went bot side, there's something that happened top side, and seeing that there's 3 of the opponent's members overextended, this is a huge chance for me to try and catch their members down. Use of the ultimate, get the Lucian down, third skill, sphere, and we're able to get 2 kills back. Gragas is at the mid side. I still have my ultimate. I'm able to see where they are. Look at the fire at the map. Unfortunately, Renekton and Tifa are there, so this is quite a bad situation. I'm forced to flash out. Luckily, Gragas cast pushed me away. Twisted Fate with a red card, and I'm able to get away safely. So that's a problem about Warwick's second skill. Even though you're able to see where the low target is, you don't know if he has teammates beside him. So I have to give up the Rift Herald. I go for the Dragon instead. I'm able to sustain my HP back while hitting the Dragon. And Warwick's objective secure is quite strong as well. With the first skill plus might, I use my third skill to become a bit more tanky, get the fear off, then immediately go for the ultimate for even more sustain. And look how strong my sustain is with the tankiness of the third skill plus the sustain that I have. I'm able to get my HP back even through Ignite. We secure the objective, and we're still placed in a good position to carry the game. In 11 minutes, we're able to get 12 kills, go back to our camps, try to clear them before going to base. As soon as my second skill procs again. I look for any possible targets that I could gank, and I go back to buy my Guardian Angel. So I went for the Guardian Angel rather than the Sterak's because I have a huge bounty, and if I'm placed in a bad position, Guardian Angel would give me a second life, so I wouldn't lose my bounty right away. But if I didn't have a bounty, I would have just went for the Sterak's Gauge for more HP as well as a bit more damage. I ping my team that I'm coming just in case a fight breaks out. I just want to farm my camps before doing anything else in the map so that my pathing would be efficient. So Renekton is at a bit overextended at the right side, but the second skill only smelled the nearest target, which is the Nautilus. My ultimate is level 3. I check if I could go for a catch, but they're pretty far. So I go at the top side instead. Twisted Fate was able to ulti out, and nothing happens. They're able to escape safely. Since my camps are all gone, I try to look for a pick. Get the Renekton. Look at the burst that I'm doing. Bring Renekton really low. I'm not able to chase him down. I have my Zonya to buy time. And Gragas ultis me. With the clutch heal of the Karma, I'm able to live. My Guardian Angel is not wasted. Unfortunately, Vigor gets down, but overall, it's a 1-for-2 trade in favor of us. So what I'm just doing here is trying to buy time, waiting for the Jax to split push properly. And the next item that I'm doing here is Spirit Visage. The reason why is that they have 2 AP in their team. Pure AP Gragas as well as Twisted Fate. This would make my magic resist a bit higher and gives me more sustainability with the passive of the Visage. Another fight happens here. Gragas dodges my ultimate. I try and chase down the Renekton, going for the third skill plus flash. We easily take him down. Nautilus is a bit overextended, but it's quite tanky, so I have to go back and get small wins. So another combo rather that you could go on Warwick is use your third skill and then immediately go for the flash and then third skill again for the fear, guaranteeing it to hit, and then you could follow up with your ultimate if you are. This is best used if you're ganking the opponents. So what I'm doing right now is clearing my camps again because they have just spawned, waiting for the third dragon. There's a Scuttler on the top side, but since I don't have any teammates, I have to give it up. I try to look to defend the top tower, but looking at the map, my teammates are not yet in position. Twisted Fate overextends, and we immediately burst him down. So this goes to show the strength of the items that I have. Trinity Force plus Blade of the Ruin King plus Kraken Slayer would let me burst the opponent. Since Kraken Slayer works with the first skill of Warwick, it also guarantees a stack on the ultimate as well, because your ultimate does 3 hits and Kraken Slayer procs on 3 hits, which means after using the ultimate, you would automatically proc the Kraken Slayer, which does 2 damage. So another fight happens both side. Third skill, try to go for the multi-man fear. We bring Gragas to our team, use our auto attacks to bring them down. My ultimate is up, but I want to save it for Lucian. Unfortunately, I missed. He's able to sidestep. I have my third skill again. Look at how much damage I'm mitigating with the third skill. And we're able to escape safely, getting a 1-for-3 exchange overall. So what I'm thinking right now is try to start the Baron because only Twisted Fate and Lucian are up. And as soon as I see Lucian extended, stuck in the cage, we take him down. Twisted Fate is the only one alive. Even though I have a lot of sustain, the problem I have right now is I don't have any armor since I went for the Visage plus Mercury Threads. So Twisted Fate does a lot of poke onto me and I'm not able to out-sustain the Baron. I still have my Smite. Guardian Angel gets popped. Baron resets a bit and I'm forced to go away. The opponent has just spawned. He's able to buy enough time, so we're placed in a very, very scary situation because their jungler is here and I do a little trick, flash in, smite, then immediately ulti out, and we're able to escape the very, very dangerous situation. We are able to live as well and we take Baron. Unfortunately, Jax overextends, but we have our Baron and our second skill to chase down the targets. Varus takes down 2 people, and overall, I think it's still a success. but it was a bit scary. Lucian dashes out, so I'm not able to chase him. I just take the red instead and look for any possible catches onto the opponent. Wait for the Gragas to face check or the Lucian, but they decided to go for the long cut. So I go mid instead, try to take down the tower. I have all of my skills. We easily take it down. Twisted Fate uses his ultimate. Gragas goes in. Veigar with a cage. I used my ultimate, but Gragas died too fast, so we just go and disengage. The third dragon is still up. Unfortunately, we weren't able to secure the first dragon, but it's okay. We still have 2 dragons, and Ocean Dragon is good on Warwick because this also gives us more sustain overall. So it's not the worst case situation. With that, I looked at the camps that I have, and since they're all complete, I decide to clear them all before going back to base. Since nothing else is gonna happen, and my teammates are in the base as well, I'm just farming my items. 15k. We're pretty rich. Look for any possible targets that we could catch because our 1v1 potential is very strong and we could beat anyone in the map. So my Baron is still up for a bit. So what I'm thinking here is I should go and split push the top while my team split pushes the bottom because I'm pretty far from them. Without any vision, I try to play it a bit safe. A fight breaks down in the bot side, but Varus is all alone, so I decide against it and I go top instead. I should have just went to the top tower and tried to get the tower, but I'm a bit late. Lucian is already there to protect it, and Gragas suddenly shows up. I tried to use my ultimate to escape, but unfortunately, I missed it, and I should have lived if I was able to get through the wall. So this is a very unfortunate thing that happened. Not only do I die, I also lose the win streak, the kill streak that I have. Give the opponent a bounty, and this might possibly give them a chance to come back into the game. Very unfortunate, but it happens when you play Warwick. Veigar is able to step up. Karma gets back with the cast. Jax goes in. Veigar with all of the poke that he has. So we're placed in a very, very bad situation, but wow! Veigar second skill. Jax immediately goes back in. Veigar flashes in as well. Nautilus misses the hook, and we're able to turn the situation around. This is the point wherein the Veigar and Jax are able to scale up. As you could see, 19 minutes into the game, this is how strong they are when they're scaled. And at this stage, this is where I am becoming more of a tank rather than a damage dealer. Because when I get full levels on my third skill, I think it's a 40% or 45% damage reduction, which is very, very similar to Alistar's ult. And it would make me more sustainable in fights. So instead of going for the Baron, I see that Twisted Fate is split pushing, gets the wrong card. I use my third skill, Twisted Fate flashes. I'm still able to get the fear off. And right after the fear, I go with the ultimate to guarantee the kill. And looking at the death timers, 2 of them are down. Their jungler is still up, but I still opt to start the Baron, the Elder Dragon, since we are 5-man strong. What I'm thinking here is I could go for a turn. If we're able to take down the Gragas, then this would guarantee an Elder. But as long as the Gragas is still alive, he might go for a steal, and I go for the third flash. Gragas is forced to use the Zhonya. I chase him down. I have third skill again. Get the fear off, and this would guarantee the Elder buff. I could use the ulti to cross, but since this is uncontested, I just go around. First skill plus smite. Secure the Elder buff, and most likely would go for the free Baron as well. Because if we're able to get Elder plus Baron, this would spell a free win, and this would guarantee the win for us. When ganking, if the opponent is full, another tip is when the opponent is full life and you're ganking with ultimate, you could always go for the second skill first so that you would proc the additional move speed, which would increase the range of your ultimate. Because if you're able to proc the passive of the second skill, then your ultimate range would be higher. As you could see, as when I use the second skill, even though the opponents are full HP, I'm still running at them at a very, very fast pace. With the Baron plus Elder, I'm item locked so I don't need to go to the base. So I just push bot instead. Looking at the wave state, the mid barracks is already down and my teammates are pushing the top side, so this would be more likely a 4-1, and I'm just pushing the waves. Once they're able to crash the tower, this is most likely the part where we would possibly end the game. And another tip about Warwick is that using the second skill, you're able to know where they are even though you don't have any vision. So Twisted Fate is alone. I proc the Banshee's Veil. Nautilus goes for the ultimate. We buy a lot of time. Veigar, I think, goes for the teleport. Helps me out. And we bait out Nautilus ult. Jax is able to take down the Renekton in the mid lane. And we're able to take down all of the side towers. Their Nexus is exposed. It's only a matter of time where we finish the game. I tried to take down the TF, but the Nexus is down. And this is really a really good Warwick game for us. Aside from that first death where we didn't go through the red buff. Overall, very good game. 82% Warwick and the same tier. We get MVP, a lot of awards. 16, 1, and 6. Most damage taken, almost most damage dealt. And this is our Warwick gameplay. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Peace out. Ciao, ciao.
I'm finally facing it all, fearless.